just dive right into this deeply unsettling explainer. Today, we're unpacking a chilling first-hand account of a desperate coal miner who took what seemed like a simple, albeit shady, night job stealing soil. But, as you're about to see, this job led him straight into a literally terrifying alternate dimension. Buckle up, because this gets wild. Now, check out this absolutely chilling warning left behind in a diary. These were notes from previous workers who, by the way, likely never made it out alive. Think about it. If trees whisper, run. When you are explicitly told not to follow a lantern in the pitch black, you just know you're dealing with something completely unnatural. Section 1. The Mysterious Night Job. So, picture this. Our protagonist is an unemployed young guy, totally desperate to pay for his sister's wedding. He gets hired by this enigmatic, extremely wealthy guy to dig soil from the local caves. But, this isn't your standard mining gig. Look at these rules. Why exactly do you need to dig only in the dead of night? Why is there a complex, ever-changing map you have to follow? And why the absolute total secrecy? The whole setup just immediately screams that something is terribly, terribly wrong. Moving on to Section 2, Crossing the Threshold. Because digging in these caves wasn't just, moving some dirt around. It meant crossing a terrifying physical boundary deep underground. On one side, you have your totally normal black soil. Safe, light, ordinary. But the moment his boot touches the red soil, reality actually alters. I want you to imagine an immediate, literally crushing atmospheric pressure. His ears violently pop upon entry, and this heavy, oppressive dread just fills his entire body. It's a real game changer. He's simply no longer in our world. So why subject yourself to that kind of nightmare? Well, it turns out the glowing fine dust mixed into that cursed red soil is actually pure gold. Driven by severe poverty, human greed kinda takes over, right? He starts taking extra soil, trying to carry these massively heavy loads, and actually, that one fatal decision is what pushes him to stray way too far off the provided map. Which brings us to Section 3, Terrifying Entities Awake. Pushed by that greed, his overloaded bag just snaps. He panics, totally loses his bearings, and wanders completely out of the cave tunnels into what can really only be called the dead world. It is this incredibly creepy, pitch-black dimension. The sky is just choked with these swirling dark clouds, but there's absolutely no lightning. The trees are entirely leafless, coated in this strange, filthy, cotton-like substance. And out here in the dark, he realizes he is definitely no longer alone. The source describes over 50 of these deeply demonic entities emerging from the dark, the lantern bearers. They have these humanoid bodies, but their faces, oh man, some consist entirely of just staring, unblinking eyes. Other faces are completely covered in jagged, outward-facing teeth, pure nightmare fuel. And the worst part? They don't run. They just walk super slowly, deliberately encircling their prey. And they're holding the exact same rusted lanterns that the previous doomed miners used. But wait, it gets worse. The monsters aren't the only threat here. The landscape itself is alive and just purely evil. The stones on the ground literally whisper in these hushed, mocking voices, "You won't survive." The tree roots are twitching and moving on their own like snakes to trip him. As he's trying to flee, the cave walls actually begin to shrink and close in, actively trying to crush him to death. The whole shebang is basically a living, breathing trap. As he's frantically running for his life, he bumps into something that's honestly just as horrifying. A living man, petrified and permanently fused inside the solid stone wall. Only one arm and a single, terrified, bulging eye are protruding out of the rock. Turns out, this was a previous worker who was given the wrong map by that rich man, and he's now cursed to exist forever, trapped right between life and death. All right, Section 4, the gruesome escape. So the trapped rock man offers to guide him through this shrinking maze to safety, but there's a major catch. Our protagonist has to perform an unimaginably gruesome favor to free his soul. Get this, he has to literally decapitate the trapped man with his shovel. Then, carry the severed head while still running from those tooth and eye demons, squeeze through the collapsing tunnel, and finally, he has to place the head exactly on the boundary of the red and black soil and violently smash the skull with the shovel. It's this incredibly horrific execution ritual just to grant a man the sweet mercy of death. And he had to do all of this on a terrifyingly strict timeline. Because if the sun rises while he's still in the red soil, he's permanently trapped. Look at this race against dawn. Midnight, his bag breaks. By 2 a.m., he's cornered by 50 of those teeth and eye demons. 3 a.m. is the gruesome decapitation. He's literally racing against the sunrise, and he barely manages to cross back to the normal black soil at 4:30 a.m., smashing the skull right on the border and escaping back to our world just in the nick of time. Finally, Section 5, a deadly secret kept. Having somehow survived pure, unspeakable evil, he makes it back. He actually confronts the wealthy mansion owner who knowingly sent all these desperate men to their agonizing doom. But realizing the guy's way too powerful to fight, he just walks away, choosing to permanently seal the cave entrance with these massive boulders. And for 5 long years, 5 years, he keeps this terrifying secret completely to himself. Even after finding out that the corrupt owner was eventually murdered by another desperate worker, he never breathes a single word about that nightmare dimension. But here's the thing. The gold is still down there. Boundless, untold wealth. Which leaves him, and honestly all of us, with a massive dilemma. Should he reveal the cave's location to harvest that supernatural gold for his country? Or must he keep it permanently hidden to ensure those terrifying demonic entities never, ever escape into our world? So, I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought to chew on. Is all the wealth in the world really worth risking the release of absolute evil?